Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Hall County Sports Television. I'm your host, Gary Glenn. We're covering a variety of sports on this particular show, and we're going to jump into what the rest of the world calls football. World Cup soccer fever has come and gone, with the Germans beating the Argentinians for the gold trophy. The tournament was contested in front of thousands at the various venues in Brazil and in front of record television audiences worldwide. But what impact does such a thing have here on the local front? Here to talk about that is a man who's been involved with soccer at various levels for many years, Dr. Tim Gale, who's the head boys soccer coach at West Hall. Tim, we've had you on before, but welcome back to the show. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, before we turn the cameras on, you said that indeed you had watched a good bit of the World Cup soccer tournament. And I'm sure you watch it both as a fan and as a coach, maybe saying like, maybe they're a little bit too advanced for us to do these skills, but maybe we can do a few of the other things. Am I correct?
That's correct. I enjoy soccer for the game. Soccer's a great sport, and I enjoy just to watch just like a fan. But I certainly watch, like I'm sure a lot of people do, when they watch a little more technically to see what's going on with the players, their skill levels, and then how they work together, and then maybe formations on the field, and all the things that happen with soccer in the offense and defensive side. So I did watch from that perspective as well, and enjoyed it. I think I may have learned some things. I'm sure I have learned a lot by watching, and I did watch a good bit of pieces of the World Cup, and it was a lot of fun this year. It was a very exciting tournament, some good games, a few surprises, and it was great.
How do you evaluate the U.S. effort?
I think they did quite well. I know there were some weaknesses going in. I think people knew. They felt like perhaps there was some moments when, their defense was a little suspect perhaps, and they were trying to shift around, and then they were going to put some new people out there, according to the coach, and I thought they did a good job. I thought they played well. I felt like
their goalkeeper was amazing.
He made some unbelievable saves in a couple of games. He really was strong. I feel like they really pulled it together pretty well, considering. I mean, I think they had a tough group to go into. They played pretty well in that group, and then got out of there and got in the final, the 16, and then they fell. But they showed some promise, and I guess you could say a little disappointment in some ways, but in other ways they played well.
We talked about this before, about the impact. I've talked to other coaches, like after the Olympics, like gymnastics coaches or track coaches or something. I say, now, in an Olympic year, does that kind of boost your sport a little bit, the swimmers and the gymnasts and that? And usually they say, yeah, it does give us a little push. Do you think that could happen after a little bit of tailing off coming in on the coattails of the World Cup? I
do. I think it does. I think it gets players excited to go play. I think it gets the young kids out there getting excited. They watch. I talked to somebody from my church the other day, and they were talking about the fact that, my son now, was trying to decide between football and soccer, and he thinks he might even play soccer this fall, for instance, as an example. But I think the young players or the young kids get excited, and they see what's going on out there, and they get excited. Plus the fan base, I think, expands, and that's important. Because it's good to have people enjoying soccer, so they'll support the game either as a parent, as a player, or just a fan.
Now, let me tell you, if every play was like the play that the young man made when he came in off the bench and actually scored the winning goal, and where he bumps it with his chest and then hits it with his foot.
Beautiful.
I mean, you can't really coach that kind of stuff like that. I think I'd watch a lot of soccer, but to me, and here's the thing. I heard Keith Olbermann of ESPN on David Letterman quote something that said he heard that soccer is the future sport of the United States and always will be. Because we've been hearing like it's going to really take off, and we simply don't see the crowds like they see in Europe here. It's American football or baseball or basketball or whatever. At what point does that happen, Tim? I mean, we've had all the youth soccer leagues for quite some time, or is it just going to be in the American psyche that these are the other sports?
I guess if you look at it as a process, you don't have to, but if you do, I think it's a process. It's a slow one. Because there's so many other sports out there that are very popular to people.
The sport of the future and always will be, but that's sort of a backhanded compliment, isn't it?
Well, I think soccer's got a place here. I think it's here to stay for sure. I think it is a popular sport, one of the more popular sports. It may not compete always with some of these large stadiums and fill all stadiums, but I think in time it may actually get to that point. It may take a while, But with the MLS and World Cups and the teams you see and the individual players that they get to watch now worldwide, it's pretty exciting. And I think soccer is healthy. Let's put it that way. It may take a while to try to reach other sports. It may never. It's fine if it doesn't. As long as it's popular and people enjoy it, that's good.
Now, here in Hall County, we're a little bit of an aberration now because we've got a huge Latino population. And, of course, as I said, the rest of the world calls soccer football, and it's the most popular sport in the world worldwide. So this has been a strong area. I mean, let's look back at our past soccer season we've had here. I mean, you could have wound up playing North Hall for the state championship. Johnson did play for the state boys championship, and the girls team. Some of the girls teams were awfully good here.
That's right.
You got really good soccer in this area, Tim.
Yeah, you got Gainesville. I mean, they're
sure.
They're just strong teams, and it makes soccer better because it makes every other player, compete at a higher level. And I think we've got good soccer and a good following. Hopefully, that sort of output by these high school teams can encourage the guys at the middle school and the elementary school levels and even below to get them started and be excited about soccer.
Well, you're kind of an odd duck in one way, too, because you split your time between teaching at Johnson and West Hall and coaching at West Hall.
Correct.
So I'm sure you have people that you see in the halls at Johnson talking about that. Now, you're not in the same league.
We're not divisions.
In the same divisions, but it's
right.
a huge rivalry. The Battle of Oakwood always happens over there.
It is.
So I'm sure that's a good thing for you. Probably rooting for Johnson when you don't play him.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of guys over there that either my son played with as a club player, or just we saw on the field at LSA, and we got to know them, and got to know some of the families, and so we encourage those guys, and I think there's a lot of there's a lot of kids at both West Hall and Johnson that are actually good friends, or at least they play a lot of soccer together, and they've grown up together, and there's a friendly rivalry, I think, in that, which is a healthy thing.
Yeah.
And I think that both schools, I think they support the kids, support each other, whether they're playing each other or they're looking out for some other team. And of course, sometimes you say, well, I sure hope somebody beats somebody, but I do root for Johnson. It's a great school, and they have a really fine soccer program.
Yeah. Just
like I do at West Hall. I'm pushing for those guys to get better and stronger. So it's a lot of fun, though, to have both schools doing well in that sport.
Yeah, especially when you teach it both. That's kind of cool. Before you get away, though, Coach, got to ask you what you got coming back for the Spartans next year.
Well,
I'm sure you're in your off-season training program now.
We are. I'm trying to encourage you guys to get out there and get the work done. We got some things going on at school now, and I'm excited about this next year. Been thinking about possibilities for formations, possibilities for guys in positions potentially. And sometimes more than one position for some. We do have a lot of guys returning. We'll miss the seniors that led us well, but we have a lot of strong players, and I think we'll have a good year. I mean, I don't want to set expectations too high, but I think our year could be a really good year, and we'll have a very exciting soccer season coming up.
Well, you came one game shy of playing for it all last year, so good luck to the Spartans. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tim Gale.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
Well, from soccer to martial arts, that story when Hall County Sports continues.
Mountain View Auto Repair is your local full-service auto repair shop. Trusted with your vehicles for over 20 years, our experience will ensure that your vehicle will stay well-maintained year-round. You can trust our experts in everything from transmissions to brakes to engine repairs and oil changes. So visit owner Danny Hammock and his staff of professionals at 3365 Mountain View Road in Gainesville, or give them a call at 770-535-7278. That's Mountain View Auto Repair for your complete auto service.
We're back. I'm Gary Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports Television. Now, just a few weeks ago, local karateka Kelly Leo, Full Throttle Fitness in Oakwood, undertook something which seems a little crazy. He fought 100 opponents in 90-second matches for charity, the struggle to find treatments for epilepsy, to be precise. He did it at the Mulberry Creek Center near Flowery Branch, and he made it, and he joins us now on Hall County Sports TV to talk all about it. Kelly, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, tell me how you got an idea to do such a thing. It's called a 100-man kumite? Kumite.
Yes.
So, and that's, this means fight, right?
Yes, it does.
So how did you come up with this idea?
I've known about it for several years. I saw it, I've seen it on YouTube, and I said, man, I'd like to do that one day. And, I was busy doing other things, and I've kind of retired from fighting. And so I said, well, I'm 43. If I don't do it now, it's never going to happen. So I got to talking to different people, and we made it happen this year.
Is this some kind of a record now?
Yes, it is. I am the first American to complete this. I guess first North American, as some people have been telling me, but it's on Wikipedia now as the first American to do this. Number 20 that's ever done it worldwide since 1950, I think it was. Masayama was the first person to do this with Kyoshi Karate, and he did it originally to be as a 4th degree test, but a lot of students didn't want to do that anymore. Once they did that, they realized it was a lot harder than he thought, so then it became a voluntary thing, and so only 19 others have ever done this prior to mine.
What's your background in martial arts?
I started in Chain Kwan Karate, or Taekwondo. We did that for about 20 years. I've been kind of crossed over about 1999 to the year 2000 into Shidokan Karate, which is what I'm currently doing now. Which is a Japanese style of karate, which is kind of a branch of the Kyoshi style. It's basically what we train is full contact karate. The competitions we do are continuous. You try to knock your opponent down. You can knock them out if you are able to, or if they get knocked down for 5 seconds and can't recover, the match is over. Or if you sweep them and they land flat, the match is over.
And were you a high school athlete or?
Yes, I was. Athlete? I played basketball and football growing up.
Where
at North Hall.
Okay.
Yep, graduated in 1989. And then I fell in love with karate. I've been doing that all through high school and everything, but I fell in love with that. Knew that I probably was going to have a longer career as an athlete in martial arts than I was going to as a football player or basketball player. So I decided to take that avenue.
How do you train for such a thing? To fight 100 people, in 90-second matches. I mean,
I started. It was about 9 months ago. Just started doing long rounds on the bag work, long runs, long sparring, just slow, just kind of getting my mind really around the whole time of doing that. I would do up to 90 minutes twice a day to try to do this, and I would add some sprint work and weight training and things like that. But every Saturday, going about 6 weeks out, every Saturday I would do anywhere from 40 to 50 3-minute rounds, which would kind of be anywhere from 80 to 100 90-second rounds, and I would just have a fresh person every round rotating in and out to kind of keep the pace up at a higher level to try to simulate as much as we could.
What was the hardest thing about doing it?
On the day of the event?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I tell you, it got to a point to where everything hurt. I didn't want to strike anymore. I couldn't punch because my knuckles were bruised, my shins were bruised because I had no pads, and everything. I mean, I just didn't want to strike anymore. I got to where I started using elbows and I would use sweeps just to try to get through it. At some point, about round 75 to round 85, about 10 rounds, I probably checked out of the building a little bit. I was just going through the motions, just kind of get through it. People could start to see a glaze on my face.
So how did you feel after it was over, and how long did it take you to recover?
Oh, it was tough. It was tough. I had to go get fluids right after. They kept checking my blood pressure throughout. And it was fine. But as I started cooling down, I realized, okay, I need to get some fluids. I was just severely dehydrated. I couldn't get the fluids in fast enough. So I went and got IVs, and they checked my blood pressure right when I got there, and it was 80/40. It had dropped.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was very stressful on the body. I was severely dehydrated, and they watched me for several hours. And as they put the IVs in, they kept checking me. Finally, once I got hydrated, it came back up to normal.
Now, I think we also need to say that again, that you have already sent some money in for epilepsy research.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, we sent about $700 to Medical College of Georgia, and my brother's name, Keith Leo, did this. He passed away in year 2000 from a severe epilepsy. He had a grand mal seizure in the middle of the night, and he suffocated. So I've always kind of wanted to do something in his name to kind of give back, because he was always there supporting me as well. As I grew up.
So what's next for you? I know you operate Full Throttle Fitness, which is an instructional facility in Oakwood.
Yes, I train fighters to anywhere from point karate to MMA, and we got different events coming up. I've got Fall Brawl coming this fall. I haven't set an exact date yet because I'm probably going to go to Mulberry Creek where we had the Kumite. I'm probably going to go there to have the event this year because the past 2 years it's gotten bigger and bigger. I was doing it in my studio, but it's gotten bigger, so I'm going to add that. I've also, just past Saturday, I was in an event in Oxford, Alabama, and I was asked to be a coach for 2016 for Team USA,
Cool.
martial arts with the World Martial Arts Games. So that's the
Great.
next thing. Yes, so I get to watch them get beat up.
Good for you. Good for you. Now you're not going to do anything like
Nope,
this again.
I'm through. That's it.
One was enough. I don't blame you, brother.
Yes, yes,
I don't
sir.
blame you. Okay. Thanks for coming in. And if people need to get in touch with you about this, what's the best way to get to
The
you?
best way to reach us is fullthrottleoakwood.com.
Okay. It's got a website there.
Got a website, yes.
All right, great. Kelly Leo,
Thank you.
thanks for coming in, Kelly.
I appreciate it.
All right, now, before we get away from this particular subject, there's a big martial arts tournament this weekend at Riverside. They tell me it's going to be in the Curtis Hall Gym. They got a clinic starting on Friday, July 25th, starting at 5, and then they'll have some competition at 6:30. And then there'll be some more stuff on Saturday as well. We're back with more Hall County Sports in just a moment.
Turner Wooden Smith is with you every step of the way. Established in the Gainesville area in 1905, Turner Wooden Smith has become Northeast Georgia's largest independent insurance agency by offering professional service at competitive prices. Turner Wooden Smith, insuring your future since 1905.
We're back. I'm Gary Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. Well, it was a good day for members of the Georgia Iron Dogs powerlifting team last Saturday at the 2014 edition of the Georgia State Games in Gainesville. The Iron Dogs came away with a number of gold medals as well as some of the best performances of the day in the meet held at their home gym, the Iron Beast. Steve Shepard of Winder paced the Dogs on the day, winning 2 categories as he struck gold in both the men's open and the Masters men's 45 to 49-year-old 275-pound raw full power class. Had the heaviest total of the day. Shepard squatted 615, bench pressed 410 pounds, and deadlifted 545 to total 1,570 pounds, falling only 30 pounds shy of his goal of a 1,600-pound total when he just could not complete his last deadlift attempt of 575. Cody Thornton, Shepard's training partner in Winder, took time out from his strongman competitions to do a full power meet and wound up winning the Raw Open 242-pound class with his total of 1,410 pounds. That's a squat of 450, a bench of 385, and a deadlift of 575. Thornton does much of his strongman training at the Iron Beast. All right, Cody, strongman versus powerlifting. Compare the two.
They're completely different. Strongman is usually reps and reps and reps for 60 seconds, and then powerlifting is just one time. So it's.
Do they complement each other at all? The training?
They do. Strongman has definitely helped my powerlifting out, just because you use so many different training techniques for strongman that my squat and deadlift have gone way up.
Now, I asked Landon Jameson, who also does both. We had Landon on the show not too long ago. He likes strongmen better. Do you like them equally, or which one do you like better?
I like the strongman better. I guess it's new. It's newer to me though. I do like powerlifting though. I like push-pull more than full power, but.
Okay. So you're going to keep this up, or are you going to try to mix them both again?
I'm going to try to do both. Maybe one or two competitions of each a year. So.
Well, like you said, they complement each other. It's no big deal.
Yeah, they should help each other out, I hope.
All right, Cody, thanks and congratulations.
Thanks.
Now, as many of you know, I function as the Iron Dog bench press team captain, and I finished with 375 pounds on the bench press and taking the gold medal in the Masters men's 60 to 64-year-old 220 pounds equipped class. I weighed in a little under 204, had the heaviest press of the day in the bench only category. My Iron Dog teammate George Bradley of Gainesville took another Georgia Games gold medal in winning the Masters men's 55-59-year-old 148 pounds equipped class with his press of 240 pounds. And fellow Iron Dog Zach Layfield of Flowery Branch benched 175 in winning the Masters men's 70 to 74-year-old 165-pound raw category. Now, other local lifters who took first included 69-year-old Clarence Smith of Cleveland, who pressed 245 pounds on the bench and winning the Masters men's 65-69-year-old 242-pound raw bench-only class, as well as Iron Beast employee Brandon B.J. Skakowski of Houston, who won the novice junior men's raw 275 full power class with his total of 965 pounds. That's a squat of 355, a bench of 205, and a deadlift of 405 pounds.
Brandon, first powerlifting meet ever. How did you find it? How did you like it?
It was awesome. It's something I was actually surprised with myself. I've been training for everything that I hit. It's something I've been training for. And I surprised myself with my numbers. I didn't even think I was going to get my overall score. I didn't think I was even going to hit it.
First meet, but probably not your last.
Definitely not my last. I got more in me.
What attracted you to this?
Being around it all, and then seeing the first one for myself, I said, oh, it's something I probably want to do.
How does working around a gym here at the Iron Beast help you out?
I get to train more often than some people get to because of work. I'm here every day. I train 5 days a week, have the 2 days that I'm off for my rest days. So I guess it's beneficial, and it has its ups and downs, I guess you could say.
Where did you go to high school?
Flower Branch.
Were you an athlete in high school?
No, not in high. I played baseball through my junior year, but that was rec ball.
Okay, but now you're an athlete again. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's great to be back in it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, the heaviest total on the day for women went to Sandy Springs. Katie Baldwin, who at 140 pounds, was the lightest in body weight of the women's competitors in the regulation meet. Baldwin totaled 520 pounds, squat of 175, bench of 95, a deadlift of 250, and she took the title of the women's open 148-pound raw full power class.
All right, Katie, the lightest competitor in the women's division, but you had the heaviest total. Have to be pretty well pleased with the day.
I'm very pleased with it, yes.
Tell me how you got into weightlifting.
I started CrossFitting, and the lifting portion was my favorite part.
So do you do the Olympic lifting too, or are you just doing power, concentrating on power?
I'm concentrating on power. I despise snatches, so I will do the Olympic lifting, but I don't enjoy it as much as power.
Now, were you an athlete in high school?
I was not. I was athletically challenged. I did only musicals and that sort of thing.
So what attracted you to this?
I was looking to get into something, and I started making some really big gains with this early on, and it just makes you feel really strong. So.
Yeah. So you think this is your first meet, right?
Correct.
It's not going to be your last.
Absolutely not. I will definitely be doing more of these.
Now, the wife-husband team of Adrian and Pat Frizzell of Smyrna took gold in winning their respective Masters full power raw classes with their totals of 490 and 815 pounds respectively. While the oldest competitor was 76-year-old Thomas Walters of Williamston, South Carolina, who totaled 525 in taking the title of the Masters men's 79-year-old 181-pound raw full power class. The Frizzells and Walters plan to try and complete the weightlifting double play by lifting in the Olympic weightlifting competition coming up in Marietta. Now, the meet also featured competition by the Special Olympics athletes from Abilities Unlimited of Savannah. Their head coach is Jim Chaplin.
Another great competition. All of our guys did well. I think we only had maybe 2 misses, so every time we come here we have lots of fun, and all the guys really enjoy it. We had questions about this competition about 3-4 months out. When is it going to be? When are we going? How are we going? So every time this competition comes up, they are always ready, and like I said, a lot of them broke records, so they had a really good time.
And this gives them something not just to train for, but something to point toward, something that they really enjoy to do, and also it's good for them.
Exactly. We love talking about our goals because abilities are limited. A lot of these guys, they are said they can't do this, can't do that, but they like to prove them wrong. So this is a chance for them to prove to those that say that they can't do something that they can do it.
And you've been doing this for some time, not you personally, but I remember these guys have been coming to these things for a long time, the Georgia games in particular.
Well, I myself have been doing Olympic-style lifting since I was 8, so like 23 years. So I've been around weightlifting, and I've been around with these guys for about 10 years, and they've been coming probably good 7, 8, 9 years. Yeah.
What do you hope to go with this now? Just keep on doing it?
We want to keep doing this, and hopefully some of the guys will get noticed because at the Special Olympics, they are chosen for the international competition. So we just want someone to see some of our guys like Chuck deadlifting 400 pounds and be able to go to some of the international competition someday.
Now, the meet director and chief judge was once again Buddy Duke of Columbus, while Iron Dog national and world champions Dana Tripp of Lawrenceville and Mike Kidd and Tim T. Moon of Gainesville also served as judges. And I want to thank all the spotters and loaders and other volunteers as well. The next meet for many of the Iron Dogs will be the America's Cup competition coming up in Kennesaw, Georgia in September. I'm back to wrap it up in just a moment. We're back here on the set of Hall County Sports Television. Joining us now is Rob Bruce, the pastor at McEver Road United Methodist Church, where we have our studios here at Hall County Sports. And Rob, today I want to talk a little bit about missions.
That's right, Gary. You know, recent research has shown that the reason 30-year-old and unders don't go to church is because the church is not really doing what it's supposed to do. Not all churches are that way, and McEver especially is not that way. In fact, I just returned from a week Redbird Valley, Kentucky, which is the poorest county in the country, where we just sent a team of 17 people up there to work and help those people there. But we do a lot of local things too. Good News at Noon. We've adopted a local nursing home. We provide a ministry to the international students at Brenau University. and some other things like that. And if that is an interest to you, that you want to get outside the walls of the church and do what Jesus said to do for the least of these, well, we've got a place for you here.
All right. Rob, thank you very much for coming in. We'll see you in church on Sunday.
See you Sunday, Gary.
We're back. I'm Gary Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. Congratulations to Gainesville High rising sophomore Hunter Mallard. He has qualified for the National Junior Olympics in the pole vault. After just taking up the pole vault this past track season and finishing 7th in the state in 5A at the famous Georgia Olympic State Meet, Hunter qualified 2nd overall in the 15-16 age group at the regionals in Rock Hill, South Carolina. He had a vault of 12.7. Now the Nationals are set for July 26th in Humboldt, Texas. Now Hunter's a busy boy, splitting his hours between vaulting and football practice. Another little tune-up for the Lanier Canoe and Kayak Club recently. 5 youngsters went up to the Lake Placid International Regatta, New York, and came home with some hardware. Clay Baker and Owen Farley-Klatchik, a couple of 14-year-olds, teamed up to win the 2-person 1,000-meter kayak race in the under-16 class, as well as place 2nd in the 2-person 200-meter race, and with a couple of other paddlers, 3rd in the 4-person event. Baker added an individual 3rd in the 1-person 200, and Farley-Klatchik got a bronze in the 1-person 1,000-meter race. Farron Smith, another 14-year-old from Gainesville, won gold in the 1-person 200 and 500 kayak events in the under-16s, as well as being part of the K4 silver medal team at 500 meters and bronze K2 200-meter boat in the under-18 category. 14-year-old Coda Teasley teamed with some folks from Nova Scotia to win silver in the K4 500 meters. 16-year-old Riley Bruner from Dahlonega represented the LCKC and earned gold in the under-16 one-person canoe races at 100 and 1,000 meters. And as we've told you on earlier shows, the local canoe kayak folks will be hosting the Sprint National Championships July 31st through August 2nd at the Olympic venue on Clarksbridge Road. Well, a different type of water sport. AccessNorthGeorgia.com notes that Gainesville resident Sophie McLeod recently won her class at the 2014 Georgia Water Ski Championships. Now, Sophie is a rising 8th grade student at Lakeview Academy and skis in the Girls 2 division. The competition took place at Caldwell Park on Lake Ackworth earlier this month. Some unfinished business for you. In the Major League Baseball draft, the Gainesville Times notes that the Detroit Tigers picked Gainesville alumnus Will Maddox, who's been playing in the SEC with Tennessee, in the 18th round. Now, Will is already inked up with the organization and will be making his way around the minors, hoping to climb on up and maybe get the big show one day. He finishes his career with the Volunteers with a .309 batting average and 60 stolen bases. As a junior, he hit .297 with 3 home runs, 21 RBI, and 24 stolen bases. Just graduated Zach English of West Hall, a standout football and baseball player for the Spartans, helped him into the playoffs in both of those categories. Well, anyway, Zach recently got a $2,500 check from the Hope Foundation for a Better Tomorrow. That is a national nonprofit organization with the hope and goal of helping youngsters live more positive and inspirational lives. AccessNorthGeorgia.com notes Zach got the gift check from Lou and Kathy DeCoco, the parents of a young football coach who dreamed of establishing a foundation that would assist youth who are trying to make a positive input in society. Their son, Frank, died at the age of 29 as a result of bone marrow failure. Zach, by the way, will go on to play baseball at LaGrange College. The Hall County Under-7 All-Stars placed 2nd in district and made the 3rd round of the Dizzy Dean State Tournament. We talk about some more baseball news. Condolences to the family and friends of former Flowery Branch football player Keaton Coker, who passed away last week after a long struggle with brain cancer. Keaton, who just graduated from the branch, was named the 2013-14 Most Positive Male Athlete for Georgia at the inaugural Positive High School Athlete Awards back on June the 15th on the Georgia Tech campus in Atlanta. He was presented the award by former University of Georgia quarterback / Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Hines Ward. Keaton Coker was only 18. Local folks also mourning the death from cancer of professional golfer Tommy Valentine, a superlative athlete at Gainesville High, where he was an all-state quarterback and earned 9 varsity letters in football, basketball, and golf. Tommy then went on to win the Southeastern Golf Championship, Southeastern Conference Golf Championship at the University of Georgia, where he was an All-American as a prelude to a very successful career in professional golf on the tour and as a club pro in Michigan. Tommy Valentine was 64. Now, the Times named Johnson Rising junior Fabian Abarca as their boys soccer player of the year, and Knights coach Brian Shirley as their coach of the year, as we sort of end up with the sport we began the show with. Abarca tallied an area-high 31 goals and added 11 assists for Johnson, who finished as the 4A state runners-up to Dalton in the first state championship appearance in program history. All right, now next week you need to tune in because we're going to have a chat with brand new North Hall Athletic Director Billy Wells and, of course, a whole lot more. So you need to be here for that. I'm Gary Glenn, Hall County Sports. Hall County Sports is brought to you in part by Green Ford on Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville. Check out the latest deals. And remember, when you go green Ford. By Mountain View Auto Repair. a full-service shop for all of your automotive needs. Call Danny at Mountain View Auto Repair at 770-535-7278. And by McKelvey Road United Methodist Church. Visit us on McKelvey Road in Oakwood with 3 worship services every Sunday morning, Kids Town and adult small groups. McKelvey Road United Methodist Church is dedicated to transforming the world through the good news of Jesus Christ. And by Turner Wood & Smith, serving your insurance needs for over 100 years.